The phone on the nightstand buzzed like a trapped hornet, screen flaring white against the dark. 47 missed calls. All from her. The last one had come in at 4:12 a.m., the voicemail icon pulsing like a heartbeat. I stared at it until the screen dimmed, then lit again with another buzz. Text this time. Please, Eli. I'm outside. My thumb hovered. The apartment smelled of stale gin and the citrus candle she'd left burning too long. I could still taste the fight on my tongue. The sour note of her laugh when I'd asked why she kept checking her watch, the way she'd said, "You're ruining the vibe." Like I was the only one bleeding in the room. I pressed play on the voicemail anyway. Eli. Her voice cracked on the second syllable, raw as torn paper. I need to tell you something. Don't hate me. Just open the door. A wet inhale. Please. I didn't move. The radiator clanked. Somewhere below, a siren dopplered into silence. I'd walked out of the bar at 12:47 a.m., coat half button, the November air slapping my face like a warning. She hadn't followed. Now she was here 3 floors down, probably shivering in those ridiculous boots she wore when she wanted to feel tall. I pictured her pacing the stoop, phone clutched like a lifeline, mascara streaking. The image hurt more than the fight. I killed the screen and rolled onto my back, staring at the ceiling crack that looked like a lightning bolt frozen mid-strike. We'd been together 18 months. Long enough for her toothbrush to colonize my bathroom, for her laugh to become the default ringtone in my head. Long enough that I'd started saying we without thinking. Long enough that the first lie should have registered as more than a hiccup. It started 3 weeks ago. A Tuesday. I'd come home early from the firm, some deposition canceled, and found her in the kitchen, phone face down on the counter, screen still lit. She jumped when I said her name like I'd caught her mid-crime. Hey, I'd said, dropping my keys in the bowl. Everything okay? Fine. She'd smiled too wide, the kind that didn't reach her eyes. Just ordering takeout. The phone had buzzed again. She'd snatched it before I could see. Ty? I'd asked. She'd nodded, already turning away. That night, she'd fallen asleep with her back to me, a canyon of sheet between us. I'd lain awake listening to the city breathe through the window crack, telling myself it was nothing. People get weird about surprises. Maybe she was planning something. A trip. A ring. My brain, ever the optimist, spun gold from static. The second red flag came at the bar. The one with the sticky floor and the jukebox that only played songs from 2009. We'd gone with her work friends, graphic designers, all of them loud and beautiful and fond of inside jokes. I'd nursed a gin and tonic, watching her orbit the room like a planet with its own gravity. She'd worn the green dress, the one that made her collarbones look like wings. Every time she laughed, she touched someone's arm. Not mine. Then the watch-checking started. Subtle at first. A flick of the wrist while she listened to Marcus tell a story about a client who'd insisted on Comic Sans. Another glance when the server dropped off nachos. By the third time my stomach had nodded. You waiting for someone? I'd asked, trying for playful. She'd blinked. What? No. Just curious what time it is. It's 11:17, I'd said. Same as it was 3 minutes ago. Her smile had faltered. You're counting. I'm noticing. The table had gone quiet. Someonally, one of those silences that sucks the air out of a room. Then Marcus had launched into another story, and the moment passed. But the knot in my gut tightened. Later, in the bathroom line, I'd overheard 2 of her coworkers whispering. Told her to cool it, one said. She thinks he doesn't suspect. Poor guy. I pretended not to hear, splashed water on my face, told myself they were talking about someone else. But the mirror had shown a man with eyes too wide, mouth set like he was biting down on glass. Back at the table, she'd been on her phone again, thumbs flying. When I sat, she'd locked the screen. Who's that? I'd asked. No one. Doesn't look like no one. Eli. Her voice had gone sharp, the way it did when she was cornered. Can you not do this here? Do what? Ask a question. You're ruining the vibe. The words had landed like a slap. The table had pretended not to notice, but I'd felt their eyes. I'd stood so fast my chair scraped like a scream. Cool, I'd said. I'll stop ruining it. I'd walked out without my coat. The cold had been a mercy. Now, in the dark of my apartment, the radiator clanked again. My phone buzzed. Another text. I'm sorry. Let me explain. I sat up, swung my legs over the bed's edge. The floor was cold enough to burn. I padded to the window, parted the blinds with 2 fingers. There she was, Lila, under the street lamp's sodium glow, arms wrapped around herself, breath fogging. She looked small, breakable. The sight punched the air from my lungs. I should have left her there. Should have turned off the phone, crawled back under the covers, let the silence stretch until it snapped. But the voicemail played again in my head. Her voice cracking, the wet inhale. I'd never heard her sound like that. Not even the night her dad died. I opened the door. She was on the stoop, cheeks blotchy, eyes swollen. The green dress was gone. She wore my old Columbia hoodie, the one she'd stolen last winter. Her boots were the ridiculous ones, suede already ruined by slush. Eli, she whispered, like saying my name might make me disappear. I stepped aside. She crossed the threshold, bringing the cold with her. The door clicked shut. For a moment we just stood in the dim hallway, the radiator hissing like a referee. Talk, I said. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I messed up. The words were so small I almost laughed. Yeah, I got that. No, you don't, she swallowed. It's not what you think. What do I think, Lila? Her voice cracked again. That I don't love you. The hallway tilted. I grabbed the wall to steady myself. Then what is it? She reached for me. I stepped back. Her hand fell. It started at the retreat, she said. The one in August. You were in Chicago for that deposition. I remembered. 3 days. I'd called her every night. She'd sounded distracted, said the Wi-Fi was spotty. There was this guy, Jonah, from the Portland office. We were paired for a workshop. It was stupid, flirty. Nothing happened. Not then. My pulse thudded in my ears. But later. She nodded. After. When he transferred here. We kept running into each other. Coffee. Then drinks. Then. She stopped, eyes pleading. It was only twice. I swear. I ended it tonight. Before the bar. That's why I was checking my phone. He kept texting. I told him it was over. Twice. The word ricocheted inside my skull. I pictured her in someone else's bed, in that green dress maybe, or out of it. My stomach lurched. Why? I asked. The question came out raw, scraped clean. I don't know. She was crying now, silent tears tracking clean lines through her makeup. I was lonely. You were gone so much. And Jonah, he listened. Made me feel seen. Like before everything got hard. Before we got hard? She flinched. I'm not blaming you. Aren't you? No. God no. This is on me. I was weak. Scared. I thought. She laughed, a broken sound. I thought if I could just feel something else for 5 minutes, the parts of us that hurt would stop hurting. I turned away, walked to the living room. She followed. The couch still had the dent where I'd sat earlier, staring at the wall. I sank into it. She stayed standing. I love you, she said. That never changed. I know it sounds insane, but it's true. The thing with Jonah, it was like scratching an itch. Stupid and selfish and over. Over, I repeated. The word tasted like ash. Yes. I looked at her then. Really looked. The hoodie sleeves swallowed her hands. Her hair was a mess, escaping its bun in frizzy rebellion. She looked like the girl who'd fallen asleep on my chest during our first movie night, drooling on my shirt. The girl who'd cried when we found the stray cat with the broken leg. The girl I'd planned to propose to next month. Ring already hidden in my sock drawer. How do I trust you again? I asked. I don't know, she whispered. But I'll do anything. Therapy. Space. Whatever you need. Space. The word hung between us like a guillotine. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. Unknown number. I ignored it. Was it good? I asked suddenly. She blinked. What? With him. Was it good? Her face crumpled. Eli. Tell me. It was different. Not better. Just, she stopped. I don't want to hurt you more. You already did. The phone buzzed again. Same number. Then a text preview. It's Jonah. We need to talk. I stared at the screen. Lila saw it too. Her eyes widened. Don't, she said, reaching for the phone. I pulled away. He's calling me now? I blocked him. He must have gotten your number from someone at work. Please ignore it. But I was already thumbing the answer button. Hello. A male voice, smooth, a little drunk. Eli? Hey man. This is Jonah. Lila's hand flew to her mouth. I think we should talk, he continued. About Lila. What about her? My voice sounded like someone else's. Look, I know you're pissed. But it wasn't just some fling. She told me things. About you. About how you check her phone. Control her schedule. That's not true, Lila hissed. I held up a hand. She went silent. How you made her feel small, Jonah went on. I'm not the villain here, man. She needed someone to remind her she's more than your accessory. The room spun. I gripped the phone so hard my knuckles whitened. Put her on, Jonah said. No. Eli, Lila started. I ended the call. Blocked the number. Then I looked at her. Is that true? I asked quietly. Did I make you feel small? She hesitated. That hesitation was a knife. Sometimes, she said finally. Not on purpose. But yeah, the late nights. The way you'd get quiet when I talked about my art. Like it was a hobby, not a career. I felt stuck. I laughed, a sound like breaking glass. So you fucked someone else to feel unstuck? No. I fucked up because I was scared to talk to you. Scared you'd leave if I said I needed more. More what? More me in this. More space to be the mess I am without you fixing it. I stood. The room felt too small, the air too thick. I need to think. Eli. Not now. I grabbed my coat from the chair, the one I'd left at the bar, apparently retrieved by Marcus and dropped off while I slept. Lila watched me pull it on. Where are you going? She asked. Out. It's 4 a.m. I know. I was at the door when she said, I'll be here when you get back. I didn't answer. The streets were empty, the city holding its breath before dawn. I walked until my legs burned, past the 24-hour bodega, the laundromat with its flickering sign, the church with the cracked stained glass window. My mind replayed everything. Her laugh at the bar, the way Jonah's voice had curled around her name like he owned it, the hesitation before she admitted I'd made her feel small. By the time I circled back, the sky was the color of a healing bruise. My phone was dead. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step heavier than the last. The apartment was dark. Quiet. For a moment I thought she'd left. Then I saw the note on the kitchen counter, her handwriting looping like vines. I went to get coffee. Didn't want to crowd you. I love you. I'm sorry. L. The sock drawer was open. The ring box was gone. I sat at the table, head in my hands. The radiator had finally gone quiet. In the stillness I heard it, the soft click of the bathroom door. She hadn't left. She stepped out, eyes red, holding the ring box like a confession. I found this, she said. I wasn't snooping. It was just there. I couldn't speak. She opened the box. The ring glinted, small and perfect, the one I'd agonized over for weeks. You were going to propose? Next weekend, I said. My voice cracked. At the planetarium. You said you loved the stars. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Eli. I stood. Walked to her. Took the box from her shaking hands. Closed it. I don't know what we are now, I said. But I know I can't put this on your finger. Not tonight. She nodded, sobbing silently. I set the box on the counter. Then I pulled her into my arms. She clung to me like I was the last solid thing in the world. I held her, feeling her shake, feeling my own heart splinter and reform in the same breath. Outside, the city woke up. Sirens. Garbage trucks. The low hum of a million lives intersecting. Inside, we stood in the wreckage of what we'd been, trying to decide what we might become. My phone, plugged in now, lit up with a new voicemail. From Marcus. I didn't play it. Whatever he had to say could wait. Lila's tears soaked my shirt. I'll fight for us, she whispered. If you'll let me. I didn't answer. Not yet. The radiator clanked back to life, a rusty heartbeat in the wall. Dawn crept through the blinds, painting us in cautious gold. I held her tighter. The story wasn't over. It had only just begun to hurt.